The moon base was quiet. It was a place of thought, not fight. It was called Sentinel-1. It hung above the grey moon dust, like a silent metal eye, always watching Earth. Inside, General Marcus Thorne stood before a large window. Earth filled the view. The blue planet was beautiful and peaceful from here. He was an old man. His uniform was simple, with no shiny medals. His strength was not in his arms, but in his mind. 10 years ago, the Galactic Union wanted our water moons. Thorne did not fight them with ships. He fought them with trade deals, with clever words, with patience. He won without firing a single shot. He was the reason for the long peace. 2 young aides stood behind him. One was Lieutenant Eli. "The report from the Jupiter outpost is clean, sir." "Quiet week." Thorne nodded, his eyes still on Earth. "Quiet is good. It means people are living, not just surviving." Suddenly, a soft blue light filled the room. A calm computer voice spoke. "Alert, incoming vessel. Galactic Union Registry. It is the diplomat's blade. It requests permission to land. It carries a flag of peace." Eli looked worried. "They gave no warning, sir. This is not a scheduled meeting." The other aide, Major Chen, checked her screen. "It's a small ship. Just a shuttle. Life signs for 3. Low weapons power." Thorne turned from the window. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp. "A ship with that name under a peace flag? We must hear them. To refuse would be an insult. And we are not rude. Let them land, but keep a hidden watch on them." Minutes later, the airlock door opened with a sigh. 3 galactic soldiers walked in. They were tall, almost 7 feet. Their silver armor was smooth and perfect, like liquid metal. It moved with them without a sound. Their faces were hidden behind clear visors. Human-like, but too perfect. No emotion. The lead soldier stepped forward. His voice came out flat and clear from a speaker on his suit. "General Marcus Thorne, we bring a gift from the Galactic Union Council. A final offer for peace." He held out a small, glowing blue data chip. It was the size of a coin. Thorne took it. He did not look afraid. He looked curious. He walked to a console and slid the chip into a reader. A large hologram lit up the room. Words and maps appeared. The terms. Eli read them first and gasped. "This is not an offer. It's impossible." The terms were simple. They were horrible. Humanity had 1 Earth year to leave planet Earth, every man, woman, and child. Earth, the message said, was a galactic heritage world. It was too special for humans to keep. The galaxy would turn it into a museum, a park. Humans could live on Mars or in the asteroid belts. But Earth was no longer theirs. Major Chen's hands became fists. "They can't do this." Thorne was silent for a long time. He just stared at the hologram. Then he slowly took out the chip. The light died. He looked at the lead soldier. "You have my answer," Thorne said. His voice was soft but strong. It filled the quiet room. "You remember the words that ended our last conflict. I said them then and I say them now. The strongest fortress is a mind at peace. We will not fight you, but we will never leave our home. Earth is ours." The 3 soldiers did not move. They did not look at each other. The lead soldier tilted his head like a bird looking at a strange worm. "Then," the soldier said, his voice still flat, "the lesson was not learned. It happened too fast. There was no shout, no loud weapon sound. The soldiers' hands moved to their belts. Not for guns, but for short handles. Blue blades of pure energy, silent and bright, shot out from the handles. They were like swords made of lightning. "Sir, get down!" Eli screamed. He jumped in front of Thorne. He was too slow. The lead soldier moved like water. The energy blade passed through Eli's body armor like it was paper. Eli fell without a sound. Major Chen was already moving, pulling a small sidearm. The second soldier was faster. His blade cut the gun in half, then moved in a quick arc. Chen fell back against the console, a line of red across her chest. General Thorne did not run. He stood tall, facing the lead soldier. He was not a soldier. He was an old man in a room with killers. His eyes showed no fear, only a deep, sad understanding. The soldier looked at him. "The human mind is the root. Now the root is cut." The blue blade flashed forward. It was quick. It was clean. General Marcus Thorne, the great peacemaker, fell to the cold metal floor. His old body made a soft sound. His eyes stayed open, looking at nothing. Near his open hand, a small old photograph had fallen from his pocket. It showed a green field on Earth with a simple white house. The soldiers stood over him. Their energy blades vanished back into the handles. The leader spoke into his communicator. "Mission is done. The human mind is cut. The root is dead." They turned. They walked back to the airlock, step by step, calm and slow. The door opened for them. It closed behind them. On the floor, the red emergency lights began to flash. An alarm started to wail, low and steady. It was the sound of death. It was the sound of an end. The computer voice spoke again, but there was no one left to hear it. "Alert, life signs for General Thorne. Extinguished. Sentinel-1 is breached. Alert." The only witness was the big window, and the beautiful, peaceful, blue Earth that still hung in the black sky, unaware that everything had just changed forever. The command center, buried deep under the Alps, was never silent. It was a heart of humming computers, low voices, and the soft buzz of data. Until the feed from the moon cut out. The main screen, which had shown a calm view of General Thorne's meeting room, flashed once and turned to black. A single line of red text appeared. "Signal lost." For 5 full seconds there was nothing, no sound. Councillor Reed, a politician with neat hair and a tired face, leaned into his microphone. "Sentinel-1, please confirm your status." "We lost the visual." His voice was too loud in the quiet. A young communications officer, Captain Aris, worked her controls. Her face was pale under the screen's glow. "I'm not getting life sign telemetry. Just the base's automatic systems." "It's quiet." Then the emergency channel lit up, not with video but with raw prioritized data. It scrolled down a side screen, cold and factual. "Sentinel-1 internal log, 170422, airlock 1 cycled. Diplomat's blade departure confirmed. Zebedizo 425, bioscan alert. Life signs absent in conference room Alpha, 170430. Security protocol Theta engaged." "Life signs absent," Councillor Reed repeated, as if he didn't know the words. A woman at the far table let out a sharp, choked sound. Before panic could spread, Captain Aris spoke again, her voice thin. "Incoming Priority 1 transmission. Source, the Diplomat's blade for the Council." "Put it on," Reed ordered. The main screen filled with the face of the lead Galactic soldier. His visor was up. His features were smooth, his eyes a calm, solid gray. He looked like he was giving a weather report. "To the United Earth Council," he began, no greeting. "The meeting has concluded. General Marcus Thorne refused the generous offer of the Galactic Union. He chose the path of conflict. His authority has been removed. You have 1 standard solar cycle to reconsider the terms. Please govern your emotional responses. A logical transition is preferable for all." The screen went dark again. The room exploded. "They murdered him!" someone shouted. "We have to call the Galactic Court. This is a crime. Our fleet is a fraction of theirs. We can't fight. We must protest. We must show the galaxy their brutality." It was a storm of fear and rage. They were leaders, but in that moment they were just humans, cornered and scared. Councillor Reed slammed his hand on the table. "Enough! We need a response. We need—" A new, different alert chimed. This one was a soft, triple tone that had never been heard in this room. It was a sound from a dead man's protocol. Captain Aris stared at her station. "Sir, a hyper-encrypted packet. It was queued in the system. Time-stamped from Sentinel-1. 3 minutes before the signal loss. Source authority Thorne M." "Play it," Reed whispered. They expected Thorne's face. Instead, it was just audio. The general's voice filled the command center. He sounded calm, but there was a weight to his words, a finality they had never heard before. "If you are hearing this," the recording played, "then they have done the unthinkable. They have not attacked our ships or our cities. They have attacked the idea of us. They believe that by cutting off the head, the body will peacefully die." There was a pause on the recording, as if he were choosing his last words carefully. "They misunderstand. The body is the idea. My final order. Authorization Theta Kappa 9. Initiate Prometheus Unbound." The recording ended. The silence was heavier than before. Councillor Reed looked around. "Prometheus Unbound? What is that?" "Military database, now. Before anyone could type, the main doors to the command center slid open. A woman walked in. She wore the black uniform of the Earth Defense Fleet. Commander Ava Vance. Her dark hair was tied back, her face was stone, but her eyes were volcanoes. Everyone knew her. Thorne's star student, the strategist who won the battle of the Ceres Belt. She had been on high alert in the orbital command ship Resolute. "The protocol is already active," Vance said. Her voice cut through the room. She didn't shout. She didn't need to. Prometheus Unbound is not a weapon. It is a key. It unlocks every dormant system, every hidden weapon, every last resort protocol we have buried for 50 years. It was the general's final gamble. For a day he hoped would never come. A junior officer looked up confused. "But Commander, our visible fleet is too weak. The Galactic Armada is at our border. They'll destroy us!" Vance walked to the center of the room and looked at the main screen, now black. They killed a man of peace, so now they will face a people with nothing left to lose. They think they have taught us a lesson in fear. She finally turned to the council, her gaze burning. "Now we will teach them one in wrath." She nodded to Captain Eris. "Open a system-wide channel. Every ship, every colony, every person on Earth." The captain's hands shook, but she did it. "Channel open, Commander." Vance stood straight. She spoke, and her words went out to all of humanity. "People of Earth, this is Commander Ava Vance. 20 minutes ago, under a flag of peace, the Galactic Union murdered General Marcus Thorne." She let that truth hang in the silence of space for a moment. "They have given us 1 year to abandon our home. Our answer is not a year, it is now. By his blood, and by his last command, we do not retreat. We do not surrender. We no longer seek peace." She took a sharp, final breath. "As of this moment, Earth declares the final war. No mercy asked. And from this day forward, none given." She cut the channel. The command center was utterly still. The war was not declared with a cheer, but with a terrible, cold quiet. On the main screen, a new graphic appeared. It was the seal of Earth, but now ringed with thorns and fire. And beneath it, 2 words, glowing like a forge. The Galactic Armada, the chorus of dawn, approached the edge of the Sol system. It was a breathtaking sight. 100 ships, their hulls of polished silver-white metal glowing in the distant sun's light. They moved in perfect silent formation. For them, this was not a battle approach. It was a procession of ownership. They had cut the head. The human animal would now flee or bow. On the flagship's bridge, Admiral Kale watched the tactical sphere. His long fingers traced the holographic orbits. Mars was here. The asteroid belt there. Earth, a tiny, stubborn blue dot. He saw the paltry clusters of yellow light marking the known human fleet positions. Small, outdated, huddled near their home planet, fearful. Their declaration was emotional, his tactical officer said, a hint of a sneer in his translated tone. "It was the death thrall of a wounded beast," Kyle replied, his voice serene. "It makes noise before it falls. Hold course. Let their fear mature. We will enter the asteroid belt and pause. Their fear will do half our work." As the magnificent armada glided into the thick of the asteroid belt, the expected human resistance did not come. No ships rushed to meet them. No angry messages flooded the comms. Only silence. "Admiral," the sensor officer called, his voice losing its smoothness. "Multiple small contacts, emerging from asteroid shadows. They are very small." Kale leaned forward. The sphere bloomed with hundreds of tiny red dots. Not warships. They were junk heaps. Old mining pods, scrap transport skiffs, even pre-war orbital construction rigs. They were held together by welded plates and hope, boosting on chemical rockets that left dirty trails. A low chuckle rippled through the bridge. "They send their trash to greet us?" The tactical officer laughed. "Destroy them," Kyle ordered, waving a hand. "Clear the path." Brilliant lances of blue plasma fired from the galactic ships. They struck the approaching junk heaps. The small vessels exploded into beautiful, silent flowers of fire and shrapnel. It was pitifully easy. But the debris did not dissipate. It kept moving forward, carried by its own momentum. And then the second wave emerged. These were not even ships. They were canisters, thousands of them, launched from catapults hidden on the asteroids themselves. "What are they?" Kale demanded. The canisters burst open before the point defense lasers could hit them. They didn't explode. They unfurled. They released great clouds of fine, dark powder and millions of tiny, razor-sharp carbon filaments, the kind used in orbital construction. The cloud mixed with the expanding debris field, creating a vast, drifting fog of grit and jagged metal. "It is dust," the sensor officer said, incredulous. "And wire." The effect was immediate and undignified. The microscopic particles coated the gleaming hulls of the Galactic ships. The filaments snaked into thruster vents and sensor housings. Warning symbols flashed on Kyle's console. Primary sensor array obscured. Auxiliary cooling vents clogged. Maneuvering thruster efficiency reduced by 40%. They were not being attacked. They were being dirtied, slowed, blinded. "Full reverse! Get us out of this cloud!" Gale barked, his serenity gone. But the human fleet had not been idle. While the Galactic Armada was busy with the abrasive fog, the real human warships had moved. Not from the front, but from below the plane of the asteroid belt, using the system's own celestial clutter as a shield. Now they rose. The EDS Resolute Commander Vance's ship led them. Their hulls were not silver. They were matte gray, scarred and patched. They looked functional, ugly. They moved into positions above and behind the struggling Galactic fleet, whose beautiful formation was now breaking apart as ships tried to turn in the clogging mist. A direct video channel request flashed on Cale's screen. He accepted, fury tightening his features. Commander Ava Vance appeared. Her bridge was darker, filled with shadows and hard light from tactical screens. There was no grandeur here, only purpose. "Admiral," she said, her voice flat, "you are in our home." "You hide behind dust and tricks," Kyle spat. "Your weapons cannot pierce our shields. This is not war. It is the struggle of insects." Vance allowed a cold, thin smile. "You're right. Our plasma cannons are weak. Our missiles slow." She leaned closer to her screen. "But for 20 years, General Thorne had us studying your ships. Not to fight them, to clean them. We know every service port, every external coolant line, every sensor blister." On Kyle's tactical sphere, new red dots appeared. These were fast, needle-thin vessels, single-pilot attack sleds. They weaved through the debris cloud, ignored by the big Galactic guns that sought larger threats. They did not fire lasers. They fired kinetic harpoons, heavy, dense rods on tethers. They slammed into the Galactic ships, not to pierce, but to anchor. "What is this?" Kale whispered. "You killed our teacher of peace," Vance said, her voice dropping to a deadly whisper. "So we will teach you a new lesson, one about gravity." The attack sleds fired their tethers into the asteroids, thick hyperstrong cables, now linking the mighty Galactic ships to the mountain-sized rocks. "You cannot move us with your little toys," Kyle scoffed. But a new warning screamed, a gravitational shear alarm. "We don't have to move you," Vance said. "We just have to keep you here, in the belt, where the asteroids move, where orbits collide." Understanding dawned on Kyle, bringing a chill colder than space. They weren't trying to blow up his ships. They were trying to tether them to the chaotic belt, to let the natural billion-year-old dance of rubble and gravity do the work. A ship anchored to an asteroid on a collision course with another is just a passenger on a doomed ride. Panic began on the bridge of the Chorus of Dawn. "Cut those cables!" "Evasive patterns," Kyle shouted, but the clinging dust fogged their lasers. The debris fouled their maneuvers. It was a battle against rust and vine, and they were losing. Vance's face filled the screen one last time. "You came for a clean victory. You won't get it. You wanted a final war? This is it. We will fight you with every rock, every cloud of dust, every clever, ugly trick we have. We will make your victory so costly, so dirty, and so slow that the story of it will haunt the galaxy for 10,000 years. The lesson starts today. Page 1. The channel cut." Kale looked from his frantic crew to the tactical sphere, where his beautiful trapped fleet was being slowly, inexorably woven into the grinding, unstoppable machinery of the Sol system itself. It was not a defeat of force, but of imagination. He had killed the architect of peace, and in his place, he had awakened the engineers of chaos.